Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Tarot Time. Happy Tuesday. I'm getting excited because my project is about to start. I have to jump on the bandwagon of the CEO, the astronomer, and the girl when they were at the Coldplay concert. And I looked at that video and I said to myself, they've been together for a while. And you're probably saying, why do you think that? And I'm going to tell you why. Because she had some grand roots there. And she must have felt really comfortable with this guy not to do him. Because I'm going to tell you, when there's a new guy in town, everything's pristine. You know it. Come on now, you know it. But anyway, I'm not going to judge anybody. That's all I can say. I'm not judging anybody. But I mean, if you're having an affair with someone, would you go to like a concert where you could really run into a lot of people? I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, that's kind of like crazy, right? Anyway. But anyway, that's 15 minutes of fame. It'll go away. And in a couple months, we won't even think about it or talk about it. It's just how the world is. They'll be on to the next thing. Oh my God. How about that credit union video? If you haven't seen it, go check it out, where they were doing the deed behind the frosted glass. What is wrong with people? All right, this Coffee and Tarot Time. I am the Queen of Wands. Let's see what we have. Okay. First card, best card. The Devil. Ooh, surprisingly, that came up with what we're talking about. When you get the devil, which is the court. I can't talk now, see? God's punishing me for gossiping. When you get the Devil card, which is the card of Capricorn, doesn't mean you have to be one, doesn't mean you are one. I'm just telling you what it is, okay? It's a card of Capricorn. Don't go be putting in the comments, well, I'm not a Capricorn. Well, no one freaking asked you if you were a Capricorn, okay? When you get the card of Capricorn, or the Devil card, it tells you that you are tied to something, and you may be tied with someone else too. I got to cover it for various reasons, right? They can post all those videos, like that one of the credit union, but Denise can't show a tarot card. Go figure. This tells you that you are tied to something that's probably not very healthy, okay? Because if you look here, and if the two of them would work together, they would be able to get that barrel or chest of gold outside that hole, but they refuse. So they're working against the tide. Did you ever hear that saying? Now, this may be you, this may be a person, this may be a situation. Plenty of us, myself included, have tried for many years to fit that round peg in the square hole, only to realize it ain't gonna happen. If we do get it somewhat in there, it's gonna be a little wonky. So these people have not learned it. Have you learned it? What are you trying to make happen that sometimes you got to say no? You're swimming against the tide. You want to swim downstream. That's what you want to do. You want to swim downstream because look what's happening here. Adversity, right? You've been trying, you're going from here, now you're coming to here. Remember, we're doing a progression of the cards. Every time, look at all these battles. So at some point, you have to say to yourself, well, I'm learning. I think I'm learning. I want to learn. You have to say that to yourself. You've made it through all these battles, but you have to say it. I've learned. So we go from this to death, the card Scorpio, okay? And the death card tells us that we're finally getting it in our noggin that we need to do a transformation, okay? And I believe that's what's happening to a lot of you out there. You're getting tired of swimming upstream. You really want to swim downstream. You're tired of all the aggravation. You want to start making your life easy. My mom said that towards the end of her life. She looked at me one day, she goes, learn to make your life easier. Hopefully I've taken a page from that book. But the death card tells us that we still keep this situation, but we realize that there's ways to make it doable. There's ways to make it work, which is amazing. We can still keep it, but we're going to make it better. Okay. So maybe we're going to give in to someone else's side of what they want, or maybe we're just going to revamp it and do it differently. But whatever the case may be, you have to do something different if you want it to work. You have to do something differently if you want it to, be a positive effect in your life. You don't want to constantly be up against this, because nobody's winning. So the Death card is a great card because it does talk about transformation, but it talks about something you already have transforming. And I always use the analogy of the chubby kid who decides, to go on a diet and start lifting weights. He's still the chubby kid inside, he'll probably always be, but he feels better about himself because he's kind of fixed the outside, So I think that you're doing a transformation to make yourself feel better because you're tired of feeling like this. I mean, look at this dude. Who wants to feel like this? So you're about to start into this transformation mode. Only you know what it is. And maybe it's financial. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship now and, you're realizing what you're doing because this is realization of you, I always say it takes two to tango. And maybe you're realizing what you're doing is not working. So you're going to try something different because you don't want to give up the relationship. You probably love the person or whatever. And it could be friendship too. You don't want to give it up, but you realize you could do something to make it work and be worth your while. Okay. All right. I also watched the other night about the girl who went missing on that cruise ship. If you haven't gotten a chance, watch it. It was 27 years ago. I actually remember it. I was much pregnant with my daughter, Jessica. And I'm not a cruise person. I get seasick anyway. I would never go on a cruise. Never. They look appetizing between, the entertainment, all the stuff they do, the food, but no. I would never go on one. I like to watch them. Like there was a series of these girls who lived on a 9-month cruise. So I watched them, but it's just not for me. And now watching this, and this girl, got taken. But watch it if you get a chance. All right, everyone. Happy Tuesday. This is Coffee and Tarot time. I am the Queen of Wands. Have a great day.